everybody, it's EK from EK Gorman Designs, and I am sneaking in today to do something a little bit different for me. I am coloring up this digital stamp from Oddball Art. It's Silly Witch Sassy Cat, but I'm doing it on black cardstock. You can actually print out on black cardstock, and actually this shows up better on camera than I thought it would. You can see it. One of the reasons I'm doing this on black cardstock is because I got some new toys. They're new colored pencils. They're the Derwent Coloursoft pencils. I've been saving my pennies for them for a while. I have the Derwent drawing pencils, which I love. They're my favorite, but there's only 24 colors of them, and it's not nearly a wide enough range to make me happy. So I've been saving my pennies for the Coloursoft. They're different than the drawing pencils, and I love them. I know there's kind of mixed reviews out there. I'm not as crazy about these on white cardstock as other colored pencils, but these have become hands down my favorite colored pencils to go for when coloring on colored stock, be it craft or black or even any color in the rainbow. There's something about the pigment in them that just makes coloring on colored cardstock phenomenal. I haven't tried them on Bristol yet. That's my next thing, but I colored something up last week on black cardstock. I colored up a Christmas card, and Lizzie from Oddball Art was like, that's great. And I was like, hey, do you want me to do one of your digital stamps on black cardstock? She's like, yes. So I'm doing that. There's a trick to this. Normally you have to layer your color, you have to layer your colored pencils on any medium you're coloring on, but when you're working on black, there really is a significant more amount of layering that you have to do with the colored pencil to get the color to show the way you want it to. Because of the way the black comes up through, yeah, you gotta layer. You gotta layer. So you'll see in the face, I've laid down some grade purple and some peach and some cream, and then I just keep going over everything. So I wanted the cheeks to have a little color, so I put in some pink on the cheeks, and then I'm going back over everything with the pale peach. No, it's just peach. And then I walk away from the skin for a while. The reason is, no matter how perfectly and I did not color it perfectly, no matter how perfectly you might color the skin, there is no way of telling how good it is until everything else is colored, because you're staring at it through black. It just is going to look funny. So I walked away from the skin, and at the end of my card, at the end of the coloring process, I come back to the skin. Because if the eyes aren't colored well, everything seems to fall apart. So I went ahead and grabbed the white colored pencil and dropped in the white into the eyes, or into around the pupils, so that way her eyes would pop out. And immediately the skin started looking a little bit better. This is a great white colored pencil. I know there's people always debating about who's got the best white colored pencil. My favorite is still the Derwent drawing white, Chinese white, but this one is really good. And then I went into the pants. You'll notice I pulled out the original image on white, and you notice I pulled out a spare scrap piece of black cardstock. It's twofold. One, sometimes when you're working on a printed image on black cardstock, you lose some of the fine details in the constantly trying to find the lines. So I pulled back out the original image just to help me quickly identify what was what. And then I pulled out the black cardstock, because sometimes you need to know what color the pencil shows up on black. And I haven't actually made a black swatch sheet yet for these pencils. And all my other colored pencils, I have one on black. I almost always, because I'm a big dork, in case you're wondering, huge, giant, enormous dork, I make a swatch sheet on white, cream, craft, and black, and then I'll often do it on gray, because I color on gray a lot. I draw on gray a lot and then color it in on, anyway. So I have a swatch for all these different colors, because each pencil shows up differently on different colored pieces of paper, depending on what color the paper is. But I haven't made a black one yet, because I've had these maybe a week, and yeah, just haven't gotten around to it. Too busy playing, not enough time to, yeah. Anyway, so I have my little black scratch piece of paper so I can scribble and make sure my colors are coming in the way I think they're going to. One of the other major tricks of using this technique of a printed digital stamp on a black cardstock is it essentially becomes a no-line coloring project because the lines just kind of blur out. So you'll notice I take real care coloring in each of the distinct little sections because, yeah. And I knew I wanted to do the small of her shirt in this green color, and there's only really, in my mind, 2 colors that work for this pale mint color, and it's the mint and pale mint. So I skipped any extra colors and just colored the shirt in with 2 colors. But what I did was I took the darker of the 2 colors, the mint, and I outlined everything in the shirt. All the little lines that the artist drew, I just kind of outlined them. And then I took the pale mint and gently colored inside of it. And I decided her witch's cap was going to be the same colors in her shirt because she's sassy. And in the sassiness, you need, I don't know, like a black witch's cap just didn't excite me at all. But I made a mistake. I have made a huge mistake. I misinterpreted the cap. The cat laying across the hat really threw things off for me. So I misinterpreted the cap and colored in a section I should never have colored. And you'll see me correct it here, because this is me going, oh no, I've made a mistake. I don't like it, I don't like it. How do I fix it, how do I fix it? So it was supposed to be a pink hat with a green trim. It's now a green hat with a pink trim. And because these these pencils are so beautifully pigmented, I was able to just take one pencil and add it over the green and get exactly the effect I wanted without any major problem solving. If you're looking at pencils, one of the reasons I love these is they actually erase. No, I'm not joking you. I can more or less take away whatever I need to, and actually at the end of the video you're going to see me do something horribly ugly. I mean, just tragically wrong. And I'm able to erase it for the most part. Again, I'm working on black, so you're going to leave subtle hints, but yeah, you'll see. It gets really well erased. I told you there was only 2 colors in this mint color that I liked that went with the color, but because I'm coloring on black, I pulled out a 3rd color to add some more highlight. That 3rd color is pale peach. Yeah. Because again, I'm working on black and I knew I was going to put multiple layers into the hat, or into each section. There's multiple layers of color on each section. I knew that I would be able to blend in a pale peach color and make it appear as if it in fact was this pale mint. Yay! Coloring on colored cardstock is incredibly fun just for this reason, because you can manipulate colors in ways that you can't on white. Like if I were to do this on white, it would be tragically wrong. But here, it actually looks like it's still that mint color, just being hit with the light, and there's a nice highlight. Since green's in her hat, I thought I'd give her some pretty green eyes. Yeah, simple, no big deal. And then I came in, I lost her gorgeous eyelashes. Actually, one of the reasons I love this image is her gorgeous eyelashes, and they're gone. I tried to get them back. I didn't get them back. They're tragically lost. Yeah, the mistakes. There is a consequence of coloring on colored cardstock sometimes, and it's that you lose some fine detail. And her eyelashes were just one of the casualties of those things. But look how cool she pops up. It's not even done being colored yet, and she just seems to pop. If you do it right, coloring with colored pencil on colored cardstock can make your image seem 3-dimensional without ever trying. Like, you're not having to use shade, and like if you're coloring on white cardstock, you're going to have to get your shadows almost perfect to get that 3-dimensional effect really working for you. When you're coloring on a dark cardstock such as this, it pops on its own. It's very, very cool. It's one of my favorite reasons to use dark cardstock and colored pencils, is because I look like a significantly better colorist than I actually am. By no means am I the expert on colored pencils. Google colored pencils on YouTube, you're going to find somebody better than me. But I like to play with them, and I like to take risks with them, and I like to try new things with them, and that's what I'm doing here. It's just playing around and trying something a little different. I wanted a black cat, but if I went with just black, we would never have seen the said black kitty. So I pulled out a black colored pencil, a brown black colored pencil, and a darker gray, but not the darkest gray, ironically, and started layering the 3 colors onto the kitty to get what felt like a black cat with a nice highlight on the top of his back. Yeah, that's the key to colored pencils. For those of you who are intimidated by it, because they don't naturally blend like a marker or an alcohol marker would, it's all about the layering and the playing. And if it doesn't look right, keep working it. So here's where things go tragically wrong. Girlfriend got her lipstick all messed up. It doesn't help that see, I should have left it right there. I should stop. No, then I kept going. Her tongue is sticking out. And in her tongue sticking out, I would normally try to color her lips red because, oh, see, look, it's erasing. Look how well that erased. I would naturally try to color her, oh, you're going to see my bad curly hair. Girl's hair ain't done, and it's sticking into the camera, so you're seeing curls stick up. Sorry. So her tongue, I feel, needs to be red, and whereas I want to make her lips red. Yeah. Can't do both, because then it just looks like a blob. And in the process of trying to make her skin look good, I ruined her lips. So now I'm coming back into the skin because I have to. First of all, it wasn't done completely right, but now I have to because I had to erase around her mouth. And I'm using far more of this gray lavender than I naturally would have thought I needed, but I really needed the saturation of that purple to help bring out the highlights of her skin. You see, I'm putting her lips back on. See, now the skin around her lips is back. And you'll notice I pull back out that gray lavender and really define the skin tones with it. I will tell you, I am stunned how much I used. And girlfriend's lipstick looks bad again. I'm just going to have to accept that this is where her lips ended up. It's the tongue sticking. One of the reasons I love the image is the tongue sticking out. One of the reasons I ruin the image is the tongue sticking out. So Miss Sassy Witch doesn't know how to put lipstick on. We're all just going to acknowledge it. I thought I was done and then I realized I hadn't colored her shoes. Again, you kind of lose images sometimes when you're working with black printer ink on black paper. And that's what I did here. So I got her shoes colored in. And I wanted to just drop a shadow under her. I dropped too much of a shadow under her. So I actually had to extend the floor out a little bit more than I intended to give her a place to sit. And I'm going to use a little bit darker gray pencil to just drop some simple shadows under her tush and her feet. I wanted a fun sentiment, so I pulled out a Tim Holtz. It's the new Sassy one, the one that, yeah, and it says, I've got it all figured out, I just can't remember or I got it all together, I just can't remember where I put it. And that's it. That's coloring with colored pencils on black cardstock. I hope you enjoyed watching me do this today. Go check out Oddball Art. They have all kinds of fun digital stamps. Want to see more from me? Hit the dragon. That will subscribe you. Want to see me color more on colored cardstock? Give me a thumbs up so I know what you like, what you're seeing. Thanks, everybody. Bye.